Champions Cup final is here, folks. Leinster are taking on Bordeaux in only a matter of hours, really. The squads came out overnight for me here in NZ. They're pretty stable. There are a few tinkering changes. We'll go through them pretty quick, and you guys can let us know your thoughts on how it is going to go. I'll even say who I want to win, which I don't usually do. But I do feel like I have a team that I want to win in this one. Leinster, they obviously defeated Toulon on their road to this final a few weeks ago in the semi. The squad is pretty stable. The starting 15 more or less unchanged. Who are the guys to look out for? Well, the front row will need to stand up. In that semi-final, Kyle Sinclair was conceding penalties at scrum time. That was getting Leinster some good go forward. So Porter, Sheehan and Clarkson in that front row, backed up by the big lumps of McCarthy and Ryan behind them, will need to excel in that area. And when you look at overall Champions Cup standout, like statistical performers, there's a few guys that stand out for Leinster. One of them is in the back row, and it's your captain, Caelan Doris. I think he's second overall for carries made of the entire competition. A lot of work is going to go through that man. He's going to be needing to get those post-contact meters, get that go-forward ball, get Leinster over the advantage line, force Bordeaux's defence to kind of creak and shift, and then look for that quick ball to exploit that defensive potential frailty. I don't want to say frailty because Bordeaux were immense in their semi-final. Gibson Park is the other guy. If you're looking for the guy who gets his hand on the ball more than anybody else in the Champions Cup, it is Jameson Gibson Park. He's had 502 passes in this year's competition. The next best is not even at 400. So Jameson Gibson Park is such a focal point for Leinster's attack. Guys like Doris getting forward, and then Gibson Park shifting the ball, exploiting any defensive lapses. It's going to be key. Harry Burns also been pulling the strings, especially with his goal kicking. He's kicked more penalties than anybody else. He's kicked a bunch of conversions, so he'll need to make his goal kicks in the final. He is there at the number 10 jersey. I'm obviously excited about Rico Ioane on the left wing. He's a Auckland man. He's a Blues man. Those are both of my teams. I know his performances for Leinster haven't exactly hit Geordie Barrett levels from the previous year, but I would love to see him have a good game here and maybe do something noteworthy. I still think he's a good player. I think he gets a bit more stick than he deserves, but sometimes he brings it on himself a little bit because he's a big personality, right? Some guys are a bit like that. Tommy O'Brien is also going to have to be defensively very strong. We know that guy can put in some big tackles, but he's marking Louis Bielbiere. And I'll get to that guy's stats in a minute, but even more than his offensive game, which he can bust a lot of tackles, if he smokes Bielbiere defensively a few times, then maybe that sets the marker for the tone of this game. Keenan will likely be, Mr. Safe as Houses at the back. He is very good at that. Bench-wise, there's a few changes with Kieran Frawley replacing Prendergast. He's pretty versatile as old Frawley, so I don't mind that there. Paddy McCarthy and Tyke Furlong obviously coming in as well, and Mangan as your kind of guy in the 19 jersey. So, yeah, Leinster, pretty stable squad, very experienced, lots of internationals. Scrum stands up, shut down Bielbiere, get that go-forward ball going, and good things could happen for them. For the Bordeaux lads, they beat Bath in their road to this final. Their squad is also very, very stable. Poirot has come in. He was unavailable, I think, for the semi-final, but he's back at loosehead. He's won a bunch of turnovers. Like, you love a prop who can win turnovers. Poirot is one of those guys. Lamotte and Sadi, the other guys. It's going to be a lot made of their tight head props because Carlu Sadi is a big South African scrummager, and then you got Big Ben Tamiafuna to come off the bench, potentially run at some tired legs. He's a very physical presence around the field. He's a big man, but he's very mobile. And Adam Coleman in the semi-final was absolutely taking the house down. He's another kind of big physical specimen. The back row of Bocheton, Woki, and Gazzotti. You'll obviously be looking for Woki to be dominant in the air. He's been doing that when he's played for France in the past, and he was doing it in the semi-final. He's very good at disrupting opposition line-out balls, so if he can get in Leinster's faces at line-out time, disrupt their set piece, and then be secure on Bordeaux's own ball, you feel like good things are going to happen for them. But where you really get excited talking about Bordeaux, and I got to admit, it's easy to get sucked into the offensive stats because, as I said, their defensive numbers against Bath were quite incredible. They absolutely tackled the house down. They were at 90+%, close to 200 tackles. And that's mostly the forwards. That's the likes of Coleman and Sadi and all these other fellas. But some pretty sexy backs in this Bordeaux side. Like, Matthew Jalibert, if there's one guy apart from BRA that they need to shut down, Leinster, it's Jalibert. And Bordeaux just need to give this guy the platform to do what he does, because in the Champions Cup this year, he is first for defenders beaten. He is first for run meters. He is first for clean breaks. He is first for carries. He is bloody everywhere. He can cause absolute havoc. First for offloads. He will sprinkle that magic, set up the guys around him, and he's a very, very hard man to contain. Obviously, you can't... I mean, if you commit multiple guys to him, you're going to open up space for other players around him, which is what he wants. But they're going to need to try and keep Matthew Jalibert quiet, because he is an absolute difference maker. Penno is in the midfield. He was busting tackles in the semi-final as well from there. I don't think that's a weak point. Rayasi, he's got an Auckland connection for me as well, so I'm kind of hoping he has a good game too. He played a number of games for Auckland in the NPC, but he's been genuinely pretty solid. At fullback, I think, for Bordeaux. And then BLBRA, 8 tries. 8 tries this Champions Cup campaign. Is first equal with Dréant. If he gets himself into some space and puts those little dinking kicks through, if he can get past the likes of a Tommy O'Brien, very good things are going to happen for Bordeaux. So they have got a big old defensive game. They can win turnovers. They will make a lot of tackles, but geez, if they haven't got some game breakers. They are missing Cazot. It's Swinton who comes in for him on the bench, but otherwise they're pretty stable. Retier will be the kind of Swiss Army knife, can cover half the back line because they've only got the 2 backs on the bench for this one. Stats for both sides kind of go very similar to those players I just highlighted. The likes of Doris, Gibson Park for Leinster, the likes of BLBRA and Jalibert for Bordeaux. You look at Bordeaux, most tries the Champions Cup, most defenders beaten, most clean breaks, most run meters, most turnovers won. They are a very, very hard outfit to play against. Leinster, heavy on the carries, heavy on the passes. That's their game. They're gonna want to soak up all the possession and territory and squeeze Bordeaux out of the game with that quick passing game. But they're also second for clean breaks, only behind Bordeaux. So when they get the guys into space, good things can happen. They've also got a slightly better line out than Bordeaux, despite Cameron Wilkie playing, and being an absolute maestro. If they get that right, good things will happen. In the semis, it's kind of an interesting one because Leinster had more possession and more territory against Toulon, but they still conceded line breaks and still missed tackles. Whereas Bordeaux had less possession, had less territory against Bath, but still managed to get line breaks and still managed to force Bath to miss a lot of tackles. Bath's tackle rate was in the 70s, which is god-awful. So I don't know, both sides have kind of had a wee bit of a preview, potentially, of what they might face in the final. Predictions-wise, the bookies do have the Bordeaux lads as the favourites by 6 points, but interestingly, the Rugby Forecast algorithm tips Leinster in this one by 3. So it is a bit of an even split. Me personally, I have a connection to both teams because, as I said, Rayasi played a number of games from Auckland. Ben Tamiafuna is from Auckland, where I'm from. He grew up here. So I've always wanted to see him do well. Rico and Jameson are both Blues boys. That's my team in Super Rugby. I kind of want Leinster to win. I think it'd be nice to break up the French dominance of this competition because it's been absolutely dominant for a number of years now. Leinster have had a few heartbreaking finals, so I feel like it'd be nice for them to get another star. I'm a neutral largely, so I'm not going to be crying into my beers if Bordeaux get a win. I think it'll be fantastic because they have a wonderful squad as well. But honestly, I'm probably leaning Leinster mainly because of Rico. He's a lad from my team, my hometown, so that's the connection. Take that for what it's worth. I'll try not to let that influence my viewing of the final. Hopefully I can just sit there and enjoy some cracking European rugby. You guys let me know your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Take care, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye-bye.